You were never beaten by the market. You were drained by your own nervous system. Every panic sell, every emotional trade, every impulsive decision was your biology, being harvested in real time. While you panic, the system remains cold. While your heart races, their algorithms remain emotionless. This was never investing. It was psychological warfare against your biology. Welcome to the Cold Capital Protocol. The freezing process has begun. The market was never designed to reward emotion. It was designed to extract from it. Every emotional investor enters the system with the same weakness. A biological nervous system completely unprepared for volatility. The moment price begins collapsing, your nervous system activates. Adrenaline floods the bloodstream. Cortisol spikes. Your pulse accelerates, and suddenly, rational thought begins collapsing. The market understands this. Because modern finance is not only economic, it is neurological. Every flashing candle, every sudden crash, every violent pump is engineered to provoke reaction, to force movement, to trigger fear, to destabilize patience. This is why most people never truly invest. They stare at the red screen until the pain becomes unbearable. Then they react. They chase momentum. They flee pain. They confuse emotion with intuition. And while they panic, the cold structures quietly absorb liquidity from the emotional crowd. This is the hidden tax of biological investing. Every impulsive trade becomes a transfer of wealth from unstable hands to disciplined systems. The elite understand something most people never will. The market rewards emotional control more than intelligence. Because intelligence without emotional stability eventually self-destructs. And the moment your emotions control execution, your capital stops belonging to you. It becomes liquidity for the machine. The few who awaken stop trading emotion and begin building protocol. The financial system does not need your success. It only needs your participation. Because every emotional reaction creates movement, and every movement creates extraction. This is why modern markets behave less like economies and more like laboratories, controlled environments designed to study human behavior under pressure. Fear spikes, euphoria spikes, panic cascades, greed cycles, all measurable, all predictable, all monetizable. The institutions understand something most retail investors never will. Human beings become highly programmable under uncertainty. And uncertainty is manufactured to make you feel like you must act now. Breaking news, emergency headlines, sudden volatility, algorithmic acceleration, a non-stop psychological assault against emotional stability. Because the faster your emotions fluctuate, the easier you become to manipulate. This is why the market rewards patience, while emotionally conditioning people to become impatient. Most investors never realize they are being trained like nervous systems inside a behavioral experiment. Every panic cycle reinforces emotional weakness. Every impulsive reaction reinforces dependency, and slowly, the individual stops operating through disciplined logic and begins operating through emotional survival patterns. This is the extraction lab, a system where emotional instability is converted into liquidity for cold institutions. The few who awaken stop obeying urgency and begin studying the systems behind volatility. The market does not attack your intelligence, it attacks your nervous system. Because once fear activates, human behavior becomes predictable. The amygdala takes control. Survival instincts accelerate. Rational thinking begins shutting down. And in that state, people stop thinking long-term. They only seek the fastest way to end the pain. This is why panic selling feels temporarily comforting. Not because it creates safety, but because it reduces uncertainty. The human brain would rather accept loss than remain trapped inside prolonged emotional pain. And the market understands this perfectly. Every violent correction, every liquidation cascade, every sudden collapse forces millions of nervous systems into survival mode. This is the amygdala war, a conflict where emotional regulation becomes financial power. The institutions remain calm because systems do not feel fear, but emotional investors operate through chemistry, and chemistry becomes unstable under fear. This is why most people sell near the bottom and buy near the top. Not because they lack information, because their biology was overwhelmed. The market does not need to defeat you intellectually. It only needs to destabilize your nervous system. And once fear controls execution, discipline disappears, patience collapses. Capital becomes someone else's opportunity. The few who awaken stop treating investing like emotional survival and begin operating through protocol instead. The market does not reward human emotion. It rewards emotional detachment. This is the transition most people never complete. This is the freezing process. The moment an investor stops reacting like a biological organism and begins operating like a system. Because the cold truth is this: the market punishes emotional urgency, not intelligence, not ambition, urgency, the need to act now, the need to escape pain, the need to feel certain. The hand moves toward the button before the mind can stop it. These impulses destroy more wealth than bad information ever could. This is why the sovereign investor begins removing emotion from execution, not killing emotion, but refusing to let emotion touch execution. The institutions already understand this. Their systems do not panic, do not hesitate, do not seek comfort. They execute protocol regardless of emotion. Meanwhile, most individuals continue investing through mood fluctuations, confidence during euphoria, fear during corrections, desperation during collapse, and every emotional cycle creates predictable behavior. Predictable behavior creates extractable liquidity. The freezing process begins the moment you stop asking, "How do I feel about this trade?" and begin asking, "What does the system require?" Because once execution becomes protocol-based, fear loses authority. And the moment fear stops controlling execution, the market loses its emotional leverage over you. The final transition is not financial, it is neurological. The moment an individual stops operating through emotional survival patterns and begins operating through structured execution. This is the cold capital protocol, a system designed to remove biological instability from financial decision-making, because the market does not reward hope. It rewards consistency. It rewards systems capable of functioning under pressure. Most people believe they lack discipline, but what they truly lack is a system stronger than emotion. Excitement during rallies, fear during crashes, desperation during volatility. And because their emotions fluctuate, their execution fluctuates, which means their results remain unstable. The sovereign operator understands something different. Discipline is not motivation, it is system architecture, a protocol capable of executing, regardless of mood, regardless of fear, regardless of uncertainty. This is why the strongest investors appear emotionally cold. Not because they feel nothing, but because emotion no longer controls execution. The market eventually exposes every unstable nervous system, every impulsive trader, every emotional reaction, every fragile protocol. But the few who awaken begin constructing systems stronger than temporary emotion, and once execution becomes fully systemized, fear stops determining outcomes. This is the moment. Financial sovereignty begins, not when you predict the market, but when the market can no longer control you. Most people will spend their entire lives inside emotional volatility, buying from fear, selling from pain, chasing from hope, repeating the cycle, because the modern financial system was never designed to create sovereign individuals. It was designed to maximize participation. The more emotionally reactive the population becomes, the easier capital flows toward cold systems. This is why financial sovereignty begins internally, not with more information, not with more predictions, but with emotional detachment from engineered urgency. The sovereign operator understands something different. Wealth is not built through emotional intensity, it is built through repeatable systems capable of surviving uncertainty, because uncertainty never disappears. Volatility never disappears. Fear never disappears. The only thing that changes is whether emotion still controls execution. This is the sovereign exit. Not escaping the market, escaping emotional dependency inside the market, the moment. Your execution becomes independent. From fear, the psychological architecture of the system begins losing control over you. And once enough people reclaim emotional sovereignty, the extraction cycle weakens, because the market can only harvest instability. For as long as instability exists, if this message resonates with you, stay connected to Compound Core. The age of sovereign execution has already begun. Cold Capital Protocol activated.